Hey, what's good, y'all? Welcome to the video. This time is of the Neca Bad Blood 2-pack. Now, unfortunately, I am missing a few parts from my Bad Blood Predator. Again, I bought this a couple times, and my Enforcer had some problems, and Neca couldn't replace the parts, so I never got around to actually doing it. And then the second pack I bought was missing parts on the Bad Blood. So again, I don't know what happened. I just had bad luck, and then I never got around to reviewing it. But I said, you know what? Screw it. I'm going to just review it anyway, and let's just have a good time. So let's do that. This is actually dope because everyone knows I've been really into the Predator stuff, and the comic that this came from is actually a bit older, but it actually is a lot of fun to read, especially now if you're reading Dark Horse's Predator Hunters, because that ties in directly from what happened with these two guys. The Human Survivor ties in directly to that from this, and it's pretty dope. If you're not reading Predator Hunters, they are now in their third miniseries, issue 2. By the time you are watching this, 2 issues have been out from the third miniseries. I think you should watch it all. You should read it all. If you're not, you are missing out on some good stories about Predators. Just straight to the cut miniseries, just plain old fun. Anyway, let's jump into it. These guys use the ultimate Predator bodies. Their obvious differences are the body placement parts. If you don't know what an Enforcer is a police force on the Predators, or the Yautja, and they pretty much keep people in line from turning bad blood or house them from not following the Yautja code. Now, bad bloods are people who clearly defy that code and decide to not only hunt down prey, ultimately just destroy them, they hunt down their own as well. So, let's go over these two guys. First, we're going to go over Bad Blood, the homie who was not the homie, but he was the main star of the original comic with these two. He was the main bad guy. Now, this guy actually looks really fantastic, especially because if you look at the correct mask, there is actually a broken lens on his helmet, because with these Yautja, the Bad Blood can't go back home and actually get new equipment and repair themselves. So they have to either use stolen technology they steal from killing other Yautja, or they pretty much just go by what they have. So this is pretty cool. And here on his mask, like I said, you see the lens on the right eye, and you'll see the red eye here. If I can just get in, there we go. Yeah. Then we have the spinal shoulder pauldron that he's made. And then we have a skull from a smaller Yautja, or I believe it could have been killed and shrunk down. I don't know the actual anatomy that well. But articulation-wise, our head can go down. It can sink in a little bit. It can go up. It actually is on a really good ball joint that actually allows tilting. And it looks pretty good going straight forward. It's really nice. Our arm can go up, but this pauldron is going to get in the way, so you can't get that full rotation. You do have a bicep swivel. Your arm is double jointed. Your gauntlet rotates as well. And the hand is on the new Figma-like joint that actually uses a peg. The older ones don't use that. They use the ball socket joints. The new ones all use the peg. Now for the right arm, with the bone pauldron, our arm can also go up here. It sinks right under the pauldron. I haven't heated mine up in a long time, and I should have, but I screwed up. And again, we have the bicep swivel. Arms are double jointed, so you can now get that very good range. We have our wrist blades, sorry. These extend out. I just wanted to cover that now so that I mess it up later. And then as our upper torso articulation, we can tilt side to side. And this is why I love the ultimate body, because when nothing is blocking this section here, you can actually get a lot of range of motion that will just allow your Predators to look really cool in poses. So as you can see here, just posing this guy up like this looks really good. So look, just the upper torso, and we can see articulation is actually really good and ranged out. Our legs can actually separate, going pretty far out. We can go up, we can go backwards, because Neca uses that soft butt plastic. Yes, soft booty plastic. But yeah, we actually have a thigh swivel as well. And as you can see here, there's bone designs of other things that he's destroyed and maimed, and he's now using it as armor. We're double jointed, and we have excellent rotation and pivot here for the foot. And again, this really makes for really great articulation. So as you can see here, when posed up correctly, or well, I won't say correct, sorry. When posed up to look really good, he does not have any sort of problem whatsoever. And I really like stuff like this. So let's stand this guy straight up. Just in case you didn't know, this actually sits right in front. Mine's actually is going to move around a lot because I mess around with these guys a lot. So mine's all pretty loosey-goosey. So let's put this guy down. And we're going to go over the Enforcer, who has the same body. I'm just going to try to spot the differences for you for the differences in the armor. So give me 1 second. Because I dropped something and I shouldn't have. I screwed up. Now, for Enforcer here, we have a really nice clean mask that you see that police designed. One thing that I always mess up here is that these guys always break, which are the designs on the these coils. I don't know why I always end up breaking them, but I do. Our arms here aren't restricted by pauldrons here on the right arm. You can actually just either tuck that in or tuck it over. Our arm can rotate, and it's double jointed as well. Your gauntlet still rotates too, and we have his wrist blades. These extend out as well too, as you can see here. You got to be careful up here because even though this is soft, it can still break. So you just don't want that. That just would make you sad. Up here, this arm actually can go over as well too. So you can actually lift the arm a little bit higher as well. And you have that full rotation, arm pivot, and gauntlet swivel. So keep that in mind. As far as articulation everywhere else, he's pretty much cool because the only thing that's going to hinder him on the side to side is going to be this side plate armor. But you still get a lot of range going left and right. And little going forward, but you actually get the most going back and to the sides. So as you can see here, even this guy, when posed very nicely, looks really good. Our legs can go forward, but unlike Bad Blood, who doesn't have anything blocking his midsection, this is actually going to get in the way a little bit. So you got to keep that in mind. If you want to, what I suggest is you either heat it up and cut along so that way it can either tuck in. What I did was I gave a gentle cut to my other one that it will tuck in. And that way, when you rotate up, it gives you that more room to come up. You don't have to if you don't want to. It's just going to make that really weird sound. Our legs are double jointed as well. And just like Bad Blood, we actually have really good ankle pivot. So these guys can actually be posed in several different ways and look really good. But now I'm going to stand them straight up. Because now we're going to talk about those accessories. And as I say, I've played with my arm so much, my arm just comes down on its own. It's not a good look for me. I'm going to have to use some pledge. Now I'm going to stand him straight up. I'm going to talk about their accessories and then all the other cool things. Now, with the Bad Blood, you will get a machete. You'll get a blooded machete, which looks pretty cool. You'll actually get a spear made from bone carcass and what's supposed to be other things tied to it. I feel like the spear is a little short, but I really can't complain. It's actually still pretty nice. You will get skulls that are ripped apart that can actually hang from him. So you can actually hang them in several places. You can actually hang them along the belt if you want to, or you can hang them back here if you want to be really cool and fun. You can hang them on the back side as well too. So actually just leave those there for a second, right? Then you have a smart disc for when you choose to destroy your enemy by throwing one of these. You'll get one set of hands. You can see the hands that we have here. And you'll also get one more hand for, oh, did I drop it? I may have dropped it. Well, that sucks, but I'll get to that in a second. You see the hand for holding the blade and sword. You also get a hand for holding the said smart disc. So when you want to just put that in, you could just line it up. Add the smart disc hand. So that way you can hold it. Then you'll get one small dreadlock for when it was cut off in the comic that he kept for a very good reason. And again, if you actually read the other ones, you'll see why later on. Then we have an unmasked head for the Bad Blood. I really like this head. I always like the roaring heads. I really think they look really good. You see the little earring here? Nice little design. Pretty dope. Now, for the Enforcer here, you are going to get a combi stick. Mine's a little warped because it's set in a bin for a little too long. I tried to unwarp it. So you'll get a combi stick. These are actually pretty large. Even when bent to the side, they are still taller than the Predators. You'll get a Protectorate mask. And this technically is not his mask. There was one that came before him, but there's a mask there. So even if you want to have one, I'll get into that in a second. Then you're also going to get an unmasked head. Now, here's a tricky thing. This pack has been released a couple times. Now, because I bought them at 2 different times, what happens is that I got technically 2 different heads. Slightly different, but nothing too crazy. The mouths are just slightly different. This mouth is completely closed, and this one is semi-open. So you can see here, So I just want to make sure I told you to edit, because I got them at different times. I have slightly different heads. With him, you'll also get an extra hand for holding his combi stick, which is the one weapon he needs for holding that. And then you'll see his right hand, because he also gets a smart disc as well. His is silver and nowhere near as big as the previous one, which may be used in some cloaking technology, you can see here. Then you'll also get a plasma caster. Now, his plasma caster fits right over the shoulder and plugs in like every other Predator. So what you can do is you can start from the bottom and just climb over the shoulder to fit in the port plug, which sometimes doesn't always work, but you know, you just gotta heat it up a little. But for the most part, they should sit on the shoulder pretty well. Remove his hair out of the way. And mine's actually works pretty tightly. So yeah, these guys are actually really nice, and I really like this 2-pack, and I love the comic. So having these guys has been a lot of fun. It's just a shame I couldn't always use them in the capacity that I wanted, because I wanted to get a couple more 2-packs. But since owning these guys for a while, I've actually had fun with mixing it up and doing something different. So after getting the Mythic Legions, I realized a lot of Legions weapons work for these guys. So for the Bad Blood, what I recommend that you do is, if you have any sort of weapons like these actually work really well for the Bad Blood. I've used them several times and they work really well with him, and they fit inside the hand, as well as any Mythic Legion spears. They work pretty well with these guys, either one of them. And the lance spear, or halberd, you know, depends on your design. Now, one more thing I want to talk about real fast is how far that Neca has come in redoing their stuff. So I'm really glad that they are revisiting a bunch of stuff, because I happen to have the old version of the Bad Blood Predator. And when you look at these guys side by side, this guy is still sculpted beautifully, but he has a lot less articulation and a slightly different paint job. But this guy moves absolutely better. It's taller and more articulated. But if you're into sculpts, this may definitely be the Predator for you. If you're into a little bit mix of the both, this will definitely be for you. So I just want to keep that in mind. Now we're going to jump into the size comparisons to show you what these guys look like next to a bunch of other figures, as well as other Neca figures. So here we go with these two guys. Now, first thing to do, I'm going to compare it to a Alien, so we can knock him out before I forget, because I tend to do that. So don't judge me. Here we are with a Neca Alien. And this guy's actually on a smaller scale, and he's still taller than these guys. If you have an arachnoid or a scorpion, he's definitely going to be much bigger. All right, so here we go with this guy. Then we're going to compare him to a Mythic Legions Ogre, because these guys are technically in a real good class with themselves. And then we're going to compare it to an AVP Predator, which shares the same body. And as you can see here, they share all about the same height. The Ogre should be bigger, but it works really well with the Neca stuff, so I don't mind it. I don't mind it at all. I mean, when you compare an Ogre to a Predator. Then we have him next to a normal Mythic Legions. And as you can see, these guys clearly tower over them, which now it makes more sense. Here we are with a Hasbro 6-inch Spider-Man. Then we have an SH Figuarts Kamen Rider Cougar. Then we're going to do a Hasbro Snake Eyes, because why wouldn't a G.I. Joe go up against a Predator? That actually sounds amazing. Damn, that actually does sound amazing. Next up, we're going to do a Articulated Icons Ninja. And I can put these guys in front because they're all so much smaller than these guys. So it pretty much works out, right? So these guys next to Predators, and they look absolutely like children next to them. Let's move these guys out of the way. Next up, we're going to compare to a 1000 Toy Synthetic Human. And then a Mezco Me on a Gomez Spec Ops body. Actually, let me just lean me back just a little bit. And just in case you just wanted to see Gomez in general, another Mezco size figure. You can see these guys are significantly smaller. These guys have been actually wonderful. Just really wish I didn't have bad luck with what I was getting. But you know what? After reviewing this, I actually sat down and ordered another one. So hopefully I'll get that. But in the meantime, hope you guys enjoy these photos. I really hope that you enjoy this and bringing some older stuff to the table. And one thing I do want to point out, I am missing my skulls that are supposed to hang from him as well. You actually get a pack of those. I'm not sure where those went. I was looking for them and couldn't find them, so I just wanted to make sure I pointed that out. In the meantime, guys, hope you enjoyed the photos at the end. Thank you for watching as always. Like, comment, subscribe, do all that good jazz. And as always, please do good, be good, drink your water. Later.